Today we talk to.
My name is Arthur Stockel.
Where are you from?
I'm from Alsace in France, from a little city called Thann in the mountains.
How did you come to the clarinet?
So I came to the clarinet because I wanted to join the wind band of my city. It's funny because I started with the guitar, but I was extremely bad with it when I was 6. And after 6 months I was like, even the teacher told me that I wouldn't probably be like a musician. And at that time he was probably right, because I was really not so good. And the funny thing is that the family, my parents, they knew really well the clarinet teacher of the city. And he was also like the conducting guy of the wind band. And I don't know how, but I started having lesson with him. And the funny thing is that in opposition to the guitar, the clarinet was really smooth and really from the beginning was really good. So I mean, I wouldn't say really good, but just it felt much more natural. And so I was really happy I gave it a last chance to the music.
Good, you changed to the clarinet.
Yeah.
You came to the good family, yes.
Yes, I know.
Nice. So what is never missing in your clarinet case?
Yes, I always take with me these, it's called Cliff bars, and it's food for sport people. And because with the traveling and with the concerts, you always end up not finding appropriate food for before the concerts. And I know that like alimentation can be very kind of either problematic, but at least very important for any musician, because like if you have like a very big moment happening on stage but you haven't fed yourself before, that's actually very like not so good. And so I have these in my case all the time. I can keep them forever. They're not like the tastiest, but they're really good. A lot of like seeds and everything in it. And so I know that like I'm not stressed about my food anytime. So read, obviously. A good book. Usually I have a book because like the waiting, you know, like if you take trains, flights, I would think like it's not worth it to be late in a way, like energy speaking. Like I always take too much time in advance, so I'm always like super chill in the train stations or in the airports, and at the end I'd rather be like half an hour earlier than expected and just read my book, and then my life is much easier and I'm reading. So this, yeah. Also same question, like an external battery of my phone. So then I don't want to be stressed by like the musician life can be stressful enough, and I just find like some little tools. So then, you know, I'm never concerned about my phone battery, my being late, like not having food or all of this stuff. I just want to avoid useless type of stress.
Very wise, yes.
That came really, how can I say, with the time, in a way. So it's just like you've been through a few concerts that you're like, yeah, I missed that, or like, yeah, this I could have done better. And then you find like these little tricks and for everyone's going to be different, and everyone has other needs, but that's my little tricks, yeah.
Yeah. It's good to get rid of all the other things that they could be stressful, and say like, look, I don't need to worry about food, don't need to worry about time, you know, and then I just focus on music.
Clarinet is stressful enough, like playing concerts, making music and stuff. Like, yeah, you have a lot of things to do already. So, yeah.
Can you tell us a bit, who were your teachers? So you say you started in Alsace. Did you start there with a teacher or the conductor? And then what happened there? Did you just leave at some point?
So I try to be not too long, but like the funny thing is like this first teacher I had at 7. So his name is Guy Egler, and he was actually a saxophone teacher. And you know, like in these like little towns, like a bit remote and stuff, you don't have conservatoire, you don't have all of these schools, but he really gave me that really big desire of playing the music. And at that time, I didn't feel I had like the greatest basics or like the greatest education, but at least he gave me like this really like, I want to play the clarinet. And every time I was in the wind band, I loved it so much. he was also playing jazz a lot, this guy, and so he told me also about like how to start improvising, even though, you know, I didn't know what much I was doing, but yeah, he gave me this big desire. And pretty quickly afterwards, when I was 11, he was like, yeah, if you want to do more now, you need to go to someone else, you know, and I really thank him for that, to be able to, you know, like let the kid go to someone who really can, you know, lead him to some other things. And so then I started in Colmar, in the conservatoire with Alain Thoiron, and he was like the principal clarinet of Mulhouse Symphony Orchestra. And I stayed with this teacher for like, I don't know, 8 years, 9 years, but I stayed really long with him. And so basically after that, when I finished high school, I went to Paris to the CRR, which is like a regional conservatoire, and I studied with Franck Camé and Paul MEJOR at that time, and a bit of bass clarinet with Jean-Marc Volta also. So this was really interesting time, a lot of practicing, just clarinet all day and stuff to prepare the entrance in the CNSM, because the exam entrance can be pretty rough over there. And then I got into CNSM. I studied there with Jérôme Comte and Pascal Moragues. So Jérôme Comte was the assistant and Pascal the main teacher, and that was a blast for like 5 years. That was really, really great to study with them. And so I already had like kind of a ongoing professional life at that time, but I feel like the education doesn't need to be all the time like 100% intense. You go to the conservatoire every day, but having like kind of a mentor, I felt really connected to that, and sometimes going back to my teacher was really nice. And so I was already in Luxembourg for a few years, but when I finished my master in Paris, I was thinking, I want to study a bit more and try to understand something different about the clarinet, but just mostly about the music, and to go somewhere where, you know, I have like another point of view. And that's the moment I started studying in Berlin in the Hans Eisler Hochschule with Martin Spangenberg. And I've been there for 4 years, and I'm about to finish actually in a month. I have my Abschlusskonzert, which is a bit funny to say that I'm still kind of a student, but you know, it feels like if you watch like tennis players or even like singers, they have their coach ongoing forever. And at some point it's just such a good feeling to be able to be, you know, like to trust someone and to play a repertoire to someone, and sometimes to be, you know, very much like I'm proposing now something and this is my ideas. So I'm a musician, I'm a professional musician, or even not professional, I don't like this word so much, but you know, like be really much proposing, but sometimes also you're like a sponge. And like you go to someone you trust really much about the music, and then this person will tell you a lot of things, and then you absorb also like musicianship from someone else, and this I think is really, yeah, it's nice. It's sometimes a bit humbling experience. Like you need to be okay. Like I still have things to learn, but like the thing is like we always have so much to discover and stuff. So
it's a very humble position, I think, that you already, when you have the job in a very good orchestra, you still want to learn, you still understand that there are more things that you can improve.
I have this idea that, like, you know, if you don't try to get better, like there's no stable position in music. Either you like if you stop having the process of trying to get better at something, then obviously you're losing something. And it's more about the belief that, you know, like, this I want to discover, and you know, and just like this process is so healthy in a way of learning the music, because at the end, like we are just like, you know, musicians more than clarinet players. And also I say, like, it's not about learning new fingerings all the time and stuff like that. And I have to say, like, if I could have lessons also with some other instruments player, you know, like I really wish to play sometimes to some, I don't know, like oboe. I used to play a lot for oboe teachers, like a lot, like to prepare auditions and stuff, because usually like they have another point of view on sound and on repertoire and stuff. So oboes, like, really, I love to get lessons from these people, or even like violin or viola. Like, yeah, that's also something that I enjoy sometimes.